I have a rant.
Okay. We've had the whole time warming up with our extremely alcoholic and
Yeah,
beverages. Like I say
yeah,
crazy
me,
things.
my crazy chicken broth here. Okay.
Welcome to another episode of AI After Hours, where we cut through the AI hype to show you how real entrepreneurs are actually making money with AI. Each month, we spotlight success stories from side hustlers and product builders who are turning AI tools into real revenue. And we call the bullshit on the misconceptions that are holding everyone else back.
I'm your co-host, Yuying Chen-Wynn, a technology and product executive with extensive experience in AI, fintech, and edtech. I'm an ex-chief product officer turned chief AI officer, most recently leading everything generative AI, the financial company Peak Six and its family of companies. Now, I consult with companies on their AI transformations, managing director of Wittingly Ventures, and joining forces with Polly to help entrepreneurs and side hustlers generate 10K a month revenue stream and maybe even the confidence to teach 9 to 5 for good. Freedom, people. That's what I'm talking about. And I love diving into real talk on AI with my co-host. Over to you.
It's me. I'm the other co-host, Polly Allen. I'm an ex-Alexa AI principal product manager, where I successfully launched the very first generation AI answers, generative answers on AI Alexa back in 2020. As a developer turned product exec, I've been building AI-related products since 2008, and I'm now the founder of AI Career Boost, where we're all about helping AI work for you, whether you want to move up the career ladder and land a new role as an AI leader and thrive there, or out working entirely on your own AI product. And we wanted to make a quick announcement. So here's how Yuying and I have been spending our side project, AI After Hours. We're launching a new way for some of you to break out of the corporate grind, if that's your goal, or at least feel like you've got some control over your own destiny, right? But by building, launching, and monetizing a software product, all using AI.
So what we've been seeing with the last 2 years, the AI hype, there is a lot of successful, ambitious people out there who feel like they're left out. I kind of feel a little bit left out, even with all my day job working in AI, but left out of the full AI boom, the money, and wonder whether you, they, us, can actually build something and make money. We want to show you guys how, because we've seen it. We've seen the success. Polly has built her own successful business, and we're excited to announce Escape Velocity. Whew, that's the one where you really take off. The 100K AI product fast track, launching September 8th, making your first real revenue before Thanksgiving. That's 12 weeks that get you from figuring out the idea, validating, building it, testing it, launching it, and getting real users and revenue by Thanksgiving. Think about that, guys. All right.
It's coming fast. And we'll be sure talking about this more throughout the show today and in the future. And the links and more information will be in the show notes. But we've been really excited about the reaction so far to Escape Velocity and how many people are already joining. So we're actually going to be changing the podcast up just slightly with a focus in this new direction. So we're going to be bringing insights from real world entrepreneurs as part of the show and how they're using AI tools to launch side hustles or full ventures, showing you what's possible. So don't worry, we are going to, of course, keep our beloved BS in AI segment. That's not going away. And we want to make sure you don't fall for the BS that's keeping others out of the game and not building. But let's get to it, Yuying. Since it's our after hours after all, I'm still having a drink. Are you still having a drink? What's your favorite bevy?
Okay, a little weird today.
You always have the weird ones.
You're not expecting this one, because I am drinking organic chicken broth.
Oh,
yeah.
How sweet of you. How very badass.
Okay, so I started this thing to do liquid once a week, because number one, I work in front of the computer way too much and I'm bad at hydration. If you exercise, you remember to drink. If you just sit there and type, it's hard. So I do this just to force myself in terms of hydration, and I don't like sweets. Most of my drinks, if you notice, are actually very low sugar. So chicken broth, because it's savory. I got the low sodium because I also have, high blood pressure and all that fun stuff. But yeah, bet you didn't expect that. We're drinking chicken broth.
I'm no fun either. I should lie and say that this is gin or something in it. But See, this is, when you start working for yourself, you can actually drink at work if you want at any time, and then it kind of loses its mystique, and all of a sudden you're like, I really just want something, some soda water with some flavoring in it, and that's kind of what I got going on today too.
Yeah,
But
and I'm enjoying my cold refrigerated chicken broth.
we know how to party.
Unexpected. Yep. Bet you didn't expect that. All right, folks.
It's a far cry from the Jolt Cola fueled days of my youth at programming, when you used to drink all this terrible sugary stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's kick off. This is our first time we're doing our monthly AI product success stories. So Yuying's going to start today, and she's going to tell us the story of someone who's very successful launching AI products.
Okay.
And you're using AI tools.
I am. Yeah. I'm ready. I am ready for this one. So, I track a lot of these, and I've been diving into just partly because I'm like, is it hype? Are these people are just there marketing so you can buy whatever course they're selling, or was there actual success? And I want to highlight this particular one that I love because it fits exactly what I think the blueprint of success is. This is called Formula Bot. Now, this was actually done back in 2022, and you'll see in a minute why that's important. But Formula Bot, very simply, it generates Excel formulas from text. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I can tell you from someone who is deeply in tech, you can be really, really competent in a lot of areas of tech, and it comes to Excel formulas, you're like, what now? Right? Very useful thing, but not very difficult to remember all the Excel if you don't work in every day. So this was a very, very specific problem. So David, he's an analytics guy, works with Excel a lot, helps all his friends with Excel. Hey David, how do I do this one? Right? We all know guys like that. You have somebody on tap. If you need Excel, you call that person. You're like, so my Excel formula is not working. So he knew about this problem. Now, this was 2022. If you guys remember, ChatGPT came out in June. This was July. Okay, so he's playing with ChatGPT like all of us were back then, like, what the hell? What do I do with this? And he started experimenting, and he realized, hey, ChatGPT wasn't that bad at spitting out Excel formulas if you typed in what you're trying to do. So he's like, I have this idea. He's an analytics guy. He's not an app builder. He's not a developer. You know what he did? He asked on Reddit in the Excel subreddit, what do you guys think? I have this idea. Anybody interested? 10,000 upvotes. He's like, wait, maybe there's a need. Maybe there's a demand. Maybe that's a little bit of user validation there. So he was like, oh, I'll make one. Here, I put it up for free. He put it up for free through the subreddit. His API bill, so this is connecting to ChatGPT, $4,999 API bill. Yeah. He was like, oh shit.
Whoops. Yeah.
I got some costs. I got some demand, but I got some costs.
Yeah.
Better charge for this. Okay. So he researched no code building. So you guys, this is before you're lovable. You don't have that fun. Right. So he found Bubble. If you guys know Bubble, no code. He's a data analyst guy. He's not a coder guy. And he created a subscription-based SaaS. Launch date, 82 customers. He's like, whoa, hey. Well past his expectations. Then he launched Product Hunt. If you guys remember, or maybe you haven't heard me say this before, but especially in 2022 at that time, Product Hunt highlighted AI tools a lot. So the algorithm was in his favor. The Product Hunt launch, $2,400 in sales in 24 hours. Right?
Wow.
Okay. So he was gathering, so this was two things. Reddit, he got his traction. Then Product Hunt, which at the time had an algorithm focused on AI tools, especially. So that's $2,400, like $2,000. Okay. Then as this was spreading, a TikTok influencer started sharing. Now even though it's paid, there was a lot of free features. So the TikTok influencers would share it. One particular one had 4.5 million followers reshared his tool, and that brought in overnight, that video became viral because he was using it, etc. So that got him, as of now, so this was back in 2022, so we're about 2.5 years in. It is about, whether or not the numbers on the internet are accurate, he is at 40K MRR per month. Wow. With this thing. You're like, wait, but that's just a rapper. That's just Excel, ChatGPT spitting out Excel formula, but it is still running. It's not, we tend to think like, oh, these functionality, ChatGPT, people go, I can just ask ChatGPT, I don't need to buy this.
Right.
The revenue is still there, the traction, the integration, the usage. It did not just disappear. It does not have to be technically so deep that someone else can't do it for that revenue to remain. I love the story because very specific problem. Early adoption, he understood. He had quick validation, people going, wait, I want that. And he figured out that he had demand for it when his API bill was like, finally like, oh, okay, well, people are really using it. I better charge for this. Yeah. And the marketing, the following, he hit the major channels, he found the algorithm, he caught kind of the influencer. There's reasons why those were successful, and it is still successful today. Of course, his tech stack has evolved. He's no longer Bubble. He got a little bit better UI, etc. And it is still live and going on. So I love this one.
Excellent. What's the name of the product again? I forgot already.
Formula Bot. I know it's they're not like great marketing.
That's what I love about it. It's simple. It tells you exactly what it is. It's like snakes on a plane.
Yep.
What's inside? Tell me what this thing does. Awesome. So that is the incredibly successful story of Formula Bot. Amazing. Incredible. Well, I've got another success story for you too. I'm going to tell the story of the development of RoboPost. So Mako Wynn, who's the solo founder she's based in Japan. She built RoboPost because she recognized that a lot of those social media management, a lot of the tools are built for big organizations having a person who runs social media management and weren't built for like companies where someone is kind of trying to do it on the side. A lot of solo and small company founders often are batching content, right? Trying to get it all scheduled and do it and then get it out of their way for the week. And a lot of these
did that.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of those existing solutions at the time in 2022 were not built for that, right? She did come from a technical background. So back in 2022, again, we didn't have today's vibe coding tools, etc. But she was able to launch the first MVP in 2 months. So she was using Fast API in the back end, React front end. And she bootstrapped this. So when it was first founded in 2022, she had 35,000 in capital. So it wasn't zero. She needed time to develop and focus on this, right?
Right.
So it was 35K. So interestingly, her early validation, unlike yours where they went to Reddit and found out, hers came from her personal network. She knew a lot of small business owners, friends, and contacts, and she brought it to them and was like, do you have this problem too? Would you pay X a month for this? And actually got them using it, right? So that first 2 months, she said there were lots of things wrong. This was very early, and not a great tool by any means, but it was enough to get real feedback. And that was that first goal, right? So she was originally building this product completely solo, including like customer support, while self-funding the business. And it grew really, really quickly. So she was able to scale that to 55K monthly recurring revenue, so subscription basis, in just a year. Really fascinating to see how quickly she was able to grow that, right? And then, so the way she grew it, she got that initial validation with friends. The next step, she went straight to ads. So sometimes people do more like trying to grow organically or find these channels, and then when something's working, they amplify it with ads. She went straight to Facebook and Meta ads. And she's talked a lot about how at first this was a bit of a slow learning curve, where sometimes you do something, it doesn't pay off. It's definitely something that takes a little experimentation, which can be costly, right? You feel like you're blowing money at first, but it's all in the name of actually finding out, hey, what in your case, like, hey, what ads are working, but also giving the Facebook and Meta ads manager time to kind of optimize the audience for you, because a lot of times they're using AI in that too. So it's one of those things that can feel risky at first. But in this case, it definitely paid off. They had a freemium model, and that's another key too, right? Is having something a free tier that is something that attracts people, makes it sticky, but you have to have something that is going to make people actually pay that next level, right? So whether it's you only get to schedule so many things per month, but they get a chance to make sure it works for them first. Yeah, so the interesting challenges that came along the way. I love this idea of starting with Facebook ads. Not everyone starts there, but Mako had the foresight to recognize like this. They don't just work on their own forever, right? They don't. Facebook ads are going to only take you so far. So she had actually moved then on to more of a content, like organic content marketing strategy, where she's posting useful content on her blog, at her website, and even providing like free AI tools. So like little bits of the process that can be automated with AI, right? She was doing more AI content generation than a lot of these other tools were very early. She had a small product, was able to build it in. And then letting in like, okay, headline generation, right? Caption generation, and providing those as like, that's the freebie tool that gets people into trying the rest of the tool. Worked really well. Again, as you pointed out in the last story, Yuying, you have to be so careful that you don't have an accidental free hit freebie that you're paying for, right? And it doesn't convert to paying customers, right? So, really picking out and monitoring as you're doing that. But that was how she's been able to accelerate the growth beyond just ads, right? And then that's also much more cost effective, honestly, than ads can be. Ads can be a great sort of like throwing gasoline on the fire, but it won't last forever and it won't keep growing at that rate just by adding more money. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I will say though, for Formula Bot, if you read the full story as it grew, it did move into ads, right? So that was one of those where the build in public, the viral following, some of the pieces got its start, so it got the boost. But then in terms of some more continued growth, they went ads, and then added on top of that, then content strategy. So free contents, blogs around, different tricks in Excel, etc. So in the end, it's all a multi-channel as far as I can tell to keep that growth in.
And I think founders pick the one they're most comfortable with first, right? If you come from more of a content marketing, or you're really clear and excited about the content you're going to create, you would start there, right? That one does tend to be more of a slow burn. You're not going to see the same like, hey, date you to switch over, the ad started working and you've got an engine. But for a longer term and more cost-effective way to either to get going or to expand your audience, content marketing. To go. Yeah, so that is the story of RoboPost. Again, a very snakes on a plane kind of title. What do I do? I'm posting. What do I do?
Yeah. Don't make your titles fancy. Make it super clear what it does.
Exactly. Don't get too cute.
Yeah.
Clarity is king in marketing. And that is our AI product success stories for the week.
Okay. I love those because I start to see a pattern. I'm like, it can be done. It can be replicated. We can all do it. We can all kind of have a little control, have a little freedom. And that's what I love about those stories. We'll keep breaking those down every part of the podcast. So now we move into my favorite section of all podcasts ever. Not any kind of bias from me whatsoever, just because we're the ones doing it. But it is our BS in AI segment where we break through but the BS, the hype, and this is where we get to rant. This is where we call bullshit on the techno bros. What the hell?
Exactly. Good thing we've had the whole time warming up with our extremely alcoholic and beverages.
My crazy chicken broth here. Okay.
All right. I think I'm kicking off this week, right?
Kick us off properly, Polly.
Excellent. So my bullshit in AI this week is about the rise of context engineering.
Another phrase? Okay.
Another phrase, exactly. And I think that's where the bullshit comes in. There's been a lot of hoopla made over context engineering. It's the new skill. You don't need prompt engineering. You need context engineering. Really new skill to learn. New skill to build.
New job. Context engineer. What is this thing again?
Or also, oh, you don't need RAG. You need context engineering. So there seems to be a lot of confusion about even what it is. And I do think, again, it was our friend Andre Karpathy who kicked this off by mentioning it.
Oh no!
Just like ad coding.
Okay.
He's using it context specific to development and of complex AI systems. And then people are trying to apply it to like, well, how do I use this when I'm prompting ChatGPT? And it's like, okay. Those are two different contexts. Speaking of context engineering, in his words, he was speaking about context engineering being the art and science of using every single piece of your context window, right? Your limited amount of information you could give to an LLM with each prompt, and being very specific about how you're filling that context window. And it comes down to what we've known for a long time is that the prompt is the thing, right? Including the context that you're giving to the prompt. What information are you giving in? Garbage in, garbage out, right? It's a little, I would say it's a superset of prompt engineering, because prompt engineering tends to be more about what are the words I use in my instructions. It does include context and potentially examples that you might give it of here's some examples of how I want you to respond to sample inputs. When people talk about prompt engineering, a lot of the time they're talking about, break this down step by step, or don't, or I'll give you $5 if you get the answer right, or my grandma will die if you get this wrong, right? All of those tips and tricks people have, assembled over the years. Again, there's some people who are trying to improve their day-to-day usage of like the ChatGPT tools, right? And I don't know about you, Yuying. For my use of ChatGPT, I have found all these tips and tricks. I don't really seem to need them anymore, right? I think a lot of the times the tools have gotten so much better that you can really speak in plain English and get what you want out of the tools. And there's less emphasis now on how exactly do I ask it? It's like the whole goal of this was for you to speak in natural language and be able to get what you want out of it if you're using those kinds of tools. For engineering, you're very specifically trying to get it to act consistently over hundreds or thousands or millions of requests, right? So that's where understanding, hey, if I include specific wordings with model A versus model B, can I get more consistent answers if I bribe it, threaten it, tell it to think step by step, right? And again, so usually that doesn't take the form of a person trying all these things. It takes the form of a team or systems that are generating thousands of variations, testing it over thousands of examples, and say, we get the most consistent results with this combo of techniques, right? And then with the rise of agentic AI, now we have a bunch more of things we need to give in the instructions. So when an agent has access to and using tools, it does a lot better if you give it really great, precise instructions of which tool to use when. If an agent needs to refer to past things in the conversation, instead of always giving it the full history of everything that this user has ever said, if you are actually selectively picking, hey, from memory of previous conversations and this conversation, here's the most useful and relevant information you need to answer this query. We're developing systems that can do that. So at runtime, you are engineering the context to be as best as it can be for the system to be consistent, not just right once or slightly better, but actually like consistently delivering the results you want. So it feels like it's more than prompt engineering. RAG is a technique you can use with retrieval to improve the prompt, but it includes generation. But they're sort of overlapping. Those are two different things. I do think context engineering it's the first time I agree with using the term engineering in here, because like prompt engineering to me was like most people are prompt dicking around with, right? They're
engineering. Yep.
And that's not engineering, right? Whereas context engineering is like, hey, let's build systems that build the best context consistently for each step in multi-step and more complex systems. It's definitely interesting, but I think the best practices are pretty easy to understand, right? The idea is always, hey, give it as little information as possible to fulfill its needs, but all of the information that it needs. Don't distract it with extra information. Give it instructions on the best ways and how to use tools and when. Give it lots of examples. Be super specific about what you want it to do. And none of that is new, right? So none of that is new or arcane science, right? I'd love your take, Yuying. Have you run into context engineering?
Only this morning.
All need to
right
learn?
This morning. I was like, what? The thing, part of what I dislike about this is the industry likes to introduce these new phrases, which makes people who are not in the industry going, oh my God, there's a new thing and it's sophisticated and I'm being left behind. When really, when you look under it, it's just somebody coined a phrase about stuff that people already knew and understood. Right. It's a little bit, what I dislike what's happening with AI, there's a little bit of a classism happening of, those that are in the know and those not in the know. And part of what you do, if you ever study social sciences, is you create a language, a terminology that's very specific that only, those that are in the know understand what it decodes to, when really you can just explain it. That's partly what I don't like about it. The context engineering in general, I do agree with you that I think it's more accurate than prompt engineering, and it solves some of the issues we talk about when we only talk about RAG as the solution to all of those things, because RAG is a very specific technique, and it's really, in the end, it's about the context.
Yeah.
The context is a weird phrase for those who are not technical versus who are technical. Those of us that are in AI are like, oh, that means very specific.
Yeah.
And then there's normal people going, context is what you told me,
Yeah.
Did you give me any context?
Yeah,
exactly. So the thing I always just think about this is like, you have to remember with the LLMs, it's got the context of 10% of the internet with everybody's social dribble. That it's always has that context unless you go, actually, please don't make that your priority context.
Right.
Consider the following information.
To not
either I hand you like, 2 balls and you're supposed to decide which one is the best, or I'm like, here's a whole bag. You're smart enough, figure it out, right? That's essentially, this is my way of like, because we used to have 2 techniques of what I call spray and pray versus a really narrow, and you basically have a super intelligence engine that's been trained to try to figure out what that is. If you think it's dumb or you really think it's tricky, hand it 2 and make it pick one. If you're like, well, that's really hard for me to narrow it down to 2. Here, let me give you 100. You can figure it out. It's not that hard for them and makes it easier for me. So that's whether you hand it 100, 1,000, or you just let it pick among the 10% of the internet social dribble. That's essentially at a very high level go, consider this before you make a decision, give me an output, write a poem, etc. Right? That's
here's
I like
the
to
world.
extract that up.
Yeah.
It's more accurate phrasing.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, I think the bullshit is for me really is that invention of new terms in order to make people feel left out and not part of the cool kids club. And everyone running around trying to come up with definitions for these new terms in order to seem like they are part of the
I better not see a post that goes, the hottest new job, the context engineer. If I'm like the other day, I was just like, hottest new job, deployment forward AI engineer. I'm like, what? Isn't that just a solutions guy?
That's just a solution. Yeah.
AI forward new. I'm just like, what? What is a deploy forward? I'm just like, what the hell? Anyway. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, excellent. That's my BS. Context engineering.
Okay.
How about you?
Yours is about the terminology. I have a rant.
Okay.
I have a rant about OpenAI. It's not my favorite right now. Okay,
Totally.
So the first piece of this is actually very cool technical development. Now, I don't know if you guys know about the Mathematics Olympiad. Okay, so true story, I did not know about this until I got into MIT and I came across my classmates from the international space, and all of them were like gold medalists, #1 world math Olympiad. Like this is how you grade the nerds from the rest of the nerds, right? This is where you prove it. Yeah, this is elite. So let me tell you about this. Yes, it's a math contest, but the people who get a gold medal, it's only 6 problems. You get 4.5 hours per problem. You work independently. You're given this thing, and you submit. If you can, like, to get a gold, you answer 5 out of 6. Even if you answer 1 correctly, you get honorable mention. You get medals for gold, silver, bronze, and this is high school kids around the world. I can tell you, I did not even know this existed. I did not take it. I don't know how I got it to MIT. Somebody else, don't tell me whether that was a trick in the system. But this is when you think about like all those Uber nerds who were building those foundational models, guarantee you at least 50 to 70% of them have won this thing. Now, Google DeepMind and OpenAI, and actually quite a few AI foundational model labs have been attempting to go, okay, can we beat this, right? This is not like the bar exam. This is like the elite on the math side to go, because a lot of this is logical thinking. This is not just like, oh, advanced calculus. Think about anything where you get 4.5 hours per problem, and there's only 6. And my God, you're top in the world if you can solve 5. That's what we're talking about. Okay. So DeepMind, OpenAI, both announced results. This is just in July, that they have achieved gold. Cool, sounds great, right? All right, what's my beef? Why am I pissed at OpenAI? Okay, so Google DeepMind. So there's an international organization that organizes the Olympia, and Google DeepMind going, okay, we want to do this test. We want to work with you. Want to get our results certified. We want to follow all the rules that the kids have to follow to go, okay, in the same conditions, our model can actually do this and achieve the same kind of results. Great. The IMO, that's the organization, will verify the results. And what they also ask is look, these kids work really hard. Don't steal their thunder. Let them have their award ceremony. Let them have their gold medal, their moment, their recognition before we go, yep, AI did it too, right?
Yeah.
Sounds very, very reasonable. And that's exactly what Google DeepMind did, right? They did this. They wait for the validation by the organization. The kids get their moment. These are high school kids who just work their asses off their entire lives to get this, have their moment. That's on a Friday, and they announce on a Monday. OpenAI, on the other hand, number one, wasn't working with the IMO directly. Somewhere along the way, we're like, we should try this too. They ran it. We don't know how they ran it. We don't know if they follow the same rules. We don't know what compute. We don't know what other limitations. And they go, wow, hey, we reached gold. And guess what? We're announcing it Friday. Let's steal the thunder of little high school kids who worked all their lives and be like, yep, us too. And we're just like, Of course, my favorite part, of course, is if you follow these things on Twitter and in the moment, the DeepMind researchers was like, OpenAI not cool. Basically, like, what?
Right.
Don't do that. Why do you need to do that? Like, I understand, and I've seen this a little bit from OpenAI now. Some of these marketing announcements is there to show that they stay top of mind, that they look like they're first, that they're ahead. They're not that much ahead anymore in terms of their capabilities in comparison. But this, just for me, I'm just like, really? I understand you wanting to steal the thunder from Google DeepMind. But kids, really? Exactly. Kids who are sitting there for 4.5 hours, not with like all the internet behind you and, you know, all the supercompute. I'm like, really?
Exactly. It looks a little desperate just to look that way.
It looks like a company that I don't want to use their tools no matter how good they are. Is what that looks like. So I have a little bit of like, when people go, hey, the AI is good. I'm like, look, the AI and the tool technology becomes what the people who make it become. Yeah, why do I like Claude? Yes, it works great, but also the founders and all the philosophy and principle behind it is about doing good, doing better, doing things the right way, where I'm just like looking at it, but I go, I don't even need to look underneath and look at your whistleblower stuff, but I'm sorry, not cool. Just not cool. Like, you don't need to be doing it this way. That doesn't help you.
It's not the first time that OpenAI has done some things that kind of show their true colors, right? You remember the whole like Scarlett Johansson, they took her voice without her permission. And there's been a few times now that I've just been like, I know that they are moving, you know, they are under a challenge to move faster than any company has ever moved before in history. But I think that when you set the right culture, even people moving fast won't do things that are completely immoral and that are going to erode trust, right? And this is totally a moment of something else that's eroded trust.
Yeah, this is just, and you know, you're announcing results that they're the same. We already know that, you know, you're not way ahead of everybody in the industry anymore, but this kind of just gets you a negative on the branding. So,
totally.
Yeah.
Boop, BS. Boop. OpenAI stealing the thunder of a bunch of math Olympiad children. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, that is our BS and AI for this week. We're gonna wrap up for today. Is there anything you wanted to plug, Yuying, coming up?
Well, I mean, obviously our great new joint venture, but we, in terms of the stories that we're breaking down, there is a blueprint for the success. And we have a webinar that talks through all of these. And part of why I'm looking at this, because we see it over and over and over, the success is repeatable, success is accessible. And we want to share that. So that's what I'm plugging. And I think we'll have probably that link to whether the recorded webinar or the next live one. Come join us and find out and see if you want to start on this journey.
That's right. It's called Find Your 100K a Year Product Idea in 45 minutes. And we'll walk you through some of the proven frameworks that we've decoded from people's success, our own success and startups we've seen in the industry. Come join us for that. Absolutely. On my side too, we are launching the next cohort for the AI Career Boost Blueprint for product leaders. So if you want to come build an MVP while learning the best practices in managing software product development for AI, and you want to build a portfolio piece along the way with me, that's kicking off on September 23rd. We do also have a webinar for that called The Path to AI Product Leadership. So whether you are looking to go get out and build your own product, or you're looking to move up, we have something for you, and we'll include those in the show notes. Awesome. I think that's all we have for this week. It's been a great new inaugural episode of the new format. Hope you guys liked us. Let us know. Send us an email at support@myaiafterhours.com. Got a new myaiafterhours.com website and domain, all focused
on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow us.
Fantastic. Excellent. We love the idea of getting more ratings and reviews for our podcast here. So please give us a thumbs up on your favorite podcast platform. And we will see you guys next month. Thanks so much for everyone for listening in. Bye for now.
Bye.